Hey guys, this morning we are going to take a look at solving polynomials by graphing. So back to our graphing calculators. It's been a little while. Here are the steps that you go through. So first of all, let's take a look at kind of my function here. And I have two things set equal to each other. Well, what does that mean? When something's set equal to each other, it means they're going to intersect at some point on the graph. So that's our goal. We want to see the point of intersection. Okay, so first step, type each side separately into your calculator. So your first line will be y1 is equal to x cubed minus 2x squared. And your second line will be y2 equals negative 3. Separate those two things and put them on two different lines. Okay, so this will create your point of intersection. The second step, use the intersect feature to determine the solution. And that is located at the second trace button. And trace is right next to your graph feature on the top of your calculator. So hit second trace and then scroll down to number 5 where it says intersect and hit enter. So those are the steps. Now let's do a problem. I took pictures on the next slide to kind of guide you through what you should be seeing. Okay, so let's scroll up. So first type in your equation separately, and you might have to look closely, but on y1 and y2 I have both my two sides, my left and right hand side of the equation, typed in separately. And then I hit enter to graph, or rather I hit graph, and here's what it looks like. So your cubic function kind of has this snake-like curve, and we just have the other one, y equals negative 3. Well, that's just going to be your horizontal line. Okay? So we kind of can guess where the point of intersection is, but we want to be precise. So what we do is we hit second trace, and let's see. Here's your second button, here's your trace button, and you'll get something that pops up that says first curve question mark. It just wants you to verify what you're trying to find. So your little kind of dot on the graph will be on one of the curves. So what you do is just hit enter, and then another screen will pop up and it'll say second curve. So the dot now moved on to the other part of the graph, the second curve of the graph. So you're going to hit enter again, and then it'll ask you one more thing, guess, hit enter one more time, and here's your final result. It'll say intersection, x equals negative 1, y equals negative 3. We want to know what x is. We're solving for x. Okay? X is negative 1. So here are the steps to go through. Hopefully the pictures help kind of see what you should be getting on your graphing calculator. Let's do one more. So here's my equation, x cubed plus 3x squared equals x plus 3. So again, this is going to be your cubic function. It's going to be that snake-like curve. And then we have a linear function over here, which we all know what that looks like, right? So I'm going to graph it in my calculator and then kind of sketch what the graph looks like on here. Alright, so I plugged in my two sides of the equation, and I'm going to get something that looks like this. So I'm going to draw my axes first. And my function looks something like this. Let's see. There's my cubic side of the equation, and my linear is going to look like this. Choose a different color. Actually, we can just graph that. We know how to graph a line. So we go start at positive 3 and go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Our slope is 1 here, so we can, that's not the best. Actually, let's try that again. Let me try that again. So we start at positive 3, and we're up 1 over 1 here. That's a little better. Okay, so here's what my graph looks like. Notice it intersects at 1, 2, 3 places, where before we had that horizontal line and it just intersected at that one spot. So here we have 3 points of intersection. Now we're going to do the same thing that we did before on our graphing calculator. So you're going to hit the second trace key, and I'm going to do that here, and then scroll down to number 5 again where it says intersect. Hit enter. Now when you have 3 different points of intersection, you need to kind of trace that little dot along the part of the curve that it's closest to. Okay, so for instance, I'm going to move my arrow and trace along the curve so it's close to this point right here. Okay, so now my blinking dot is kind of right here, and it asks me first curve. I'm going to hit enter. Okay, now it hits the blinking dot moved up here, and it says second curve. I'm going to hit enter again. Guess, hit enter one more time. And it gives me that point of intersection of x equals -3, which we can kind of tell by our graph. Okay, so I have to do the same thing 2 more times to get these points of intersection. So I'm going to hit the second trace feature, scroll down to number 5, and again I have to kind of arrow over to where I'm close to this point. So right now my blinking dot is kind of right above it right here, and I'm going to hit enter. First curve, enter. Second curve, it now moved to the second line. Hit enter again. Guess, enter one more time. And that point of intersection is x equals -1. Okay, last time, second trace, scroll down to number 5, and now we have to arrow over so we're close to that point of intersection. So right now my blinking dot, I use the arrows to kind of come along to the curve to this point right here. So first curve question mark, hit enter. Second curve, hit enter. Guess. And we are at x equals 1. Now, okay, my graph is a little off here. I tried to just sketch it as best I could, but that's why we use our graphing calculators to be precise. So this is actually x equals 1. Alright, so our cubic function, in this case, we have 3 solutions to our problem. Thanks for watching.